liberation greetings to all and sundry, my dear people of Ambazonia, my brave warriors of the Southern Cameroon's freedom cause. Accept greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro, this Sunday. Today is Sunday and it's December 17. This tells you we're just about 2 weeks, or call it 13, 14 days from the end of the year and to the start of the new year 2024. A year that is definitely going to be, I mean, upper hell. I say it, I laugh, upper hell to the people of La République du Cameroon because the troubles have just started. And they laughed when the people of Ambazonia since 2016, especially 2017, have been, got into jeopardy when their forces came in and were on a rampage, beating our people up and down, looting our homes, burning down our villages, raping our wives and sisters, carting our people in droves into jails here and there. They were laughing. And I said at some point that what they don't know is that he who laughs last always laughs best. And I said the time is coming and everybody will have their turn at the guillotine. Of course, for those who went through the painful experience of not reading Cameroon history, the history of Cameroon, or the Cameroons, not even reading the history of the southern Cameroons of Ambazonia, but they were put through the painful experience of concentrating on reading French history, and especially the French Revolution, will understand what I mean by the guillotine. I say everybody will have their turn at the guillotine. And so right now, the people of La République du Cameroon, are coming to terms with that reality that pain is not reserved only for others. Because those same bee that is say, faut les envoyer, le bee vont se calmer. Those same bee are being mobilized into Yaoundé every now and then. Right now, Yaoundé is getting gradually militarized. Militarized. In the days ahead, the number of soldiers in Yaoundé could even be, nearing, say about one soldier is to 5 or just maximum 10 people inside that city. And those are the signs of the times that I've always said that time is to come. Those are the signs of the time. And so make no mistake, La République du Cameroon's time with Armageddon is here. It's not about to come, it's here. You can already see that right now, the fuel crisis that has hit La République du Cameroon is not abating. And at the same time, you notice that for the first time in a very long while, the budget of La République du Cameroon, the state budget, has not yet been voted at the National Assembly. You know why? Because for some reason, the thing has gone too far to the point where some of those members of parliament, especially those of the so-called opposition who are all, of course, members of CPDM, are in a face-saving exercise because everybody is beginning to see the end. Because everybody is beginning to notice that they in La République du Cameroon are not getting out of a tunnel, they are getting ready to get back into the abyss. And so therefore, what they usually say in French, the French expression sauve qui peut, that is survival of the fittest. That time is now. And so the scramble to save face has become so serious to the point where so-called members of parliament, a lot of them generally appointed, or even all of them appointed, are now trying to bring to raise some eyebrows, and a lot of things are in jeopardy in that country right now. I talked about the fuel scarcity, the fuel issues, and I said the domino effect is going to be really serious on the entire economy. And from all indications, La République du Cameroon is not close to resolving that problem right now because they are rather going to, within the framework of that budget that is still suffering, that has not yet been voted, be increasing again the cost of a liter of petrol, liter of super, liter of gas oil, and all of those things. They will be forced to increase again. And of course, the citizens of La République du Cameroon will still sit, get confused, and then run to Ashu Nyenti. And then they will definitely be asking Ashu Nyenti, Ashu, what is happening to us right now? And this is what they will say.
Cameroonians, we are lucky. We are made because we have Paul Biya at the helm of the state CAF. This president is our greatest marksman. He is our principal goal scorer. He has
Oh, yes, he is the principal goal scorer. Ashu, there I agree with you. He's the marksman, the principal goal scorer. That's why he has dribbled the people constantly for 41 years, getting to 42. Dribbled them every time and scored the goals. And the people kept thinking, no, 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 things will change. And I'm looking at them. Now people are running helter skelter with gallons around looking for petrol. In some places there is hoarding now taking place, hoarding, where they keep it and then they start selling it, behind closed doors. And when they are not selling it behind closed doors, it's no longer the price that is regulated. Cameroon will soon come to terms with the reality that they can no longer stabilize the prices of petroleum products, that they have to let the free market forces determine how it goes. And the people of that country will therefore come face to face with the truth, face to face with the reality that that country has been on their, that has been on a free fall, that the economy of that country has been on a free fall for a very long time. Even now, as I'm talking to you, the business community, especially those doing business with the government of Cameroon, this end of year, a lot of them are in total confusion. A lot of them are in pains. They are moving from one treasury station to the other, and they are telling them, most of the treasurers, most of those who are treasury inspectors, treasury controllers who are holding positions as regional treasurers, divisional treasurers, sub-divisional treasurers, or whatever, a good lot of them are no longer even sitting in their offices because there is no money to pay for anything. No money. You see, when they get to the level that they've gotten to with gas right now, they're only battling, struggling to see how to borrow from here and there to pay wages, because that is the last thing that is still holding people around to get the people think that no, at least things are working, because they are still paying meager salaries. They will soon get to a point where even that one will not come. It is coming. 2024. I said here before, and I'm repeating this for the interest of our southern Cameroons or our Amazonian brothers and sisters who still have their money stashed in the banks of La République du Cameroon. Make hay while the sun shines. Make hay while the sun shines. Even citizens of La République du Cameroon today, more and more, are coming out to decry a situation they had hailed yesterday. They are becoming emboldened to talk because they have come to that conclusion that a corpse should normally not be afraid of the grave, because a lot of them have recognized right now that they are corpses. And I'm saying this for the interest of our Southern Cameroonian brothers and sisters who are still blinded by a stupid belief that they have some advantages that they can continue to hang on in the Republic du Cameroon. Everything is crumbling. If you continue to be heady, you will crumble along. Otherwise, you should be able to take measures right now. Join the liberation train. Join the liberation train while there is still time. Don't end up like the fly that refuse to follow advice, refuse to listen to advice, and follow the corpse into the grave and got buried along with it. That's exactly what is going to be happening. So, folks, I was just raising that so that we know. Because, like I said, it's so bad. It's so bad. They're thinking that it's something that's temporary. No, it's not going to be temporary. That fuel crisis that's started now, it is going to be continuous. Continuous. Because La République du Cameroon agreed with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund that they were going to gradually phase out subsidies on petroleum products. And when they phase out all subsidies on petroleum products, when they are not refining, so the guy is not refining, how do you expect them therefore to stabilize? The only way to stabilize is to, cover some of the cost. But now when they agreed to a condition no longer to cover some of the cost, so they can continue to give them at least some little money once in a while to pay wages, then you can begin to understand where you are. It's not looking interesting at all. Don't mind even the empty promises that you heard at the so-called Ballon d'Or Cameroonian organized by Samuel Eto'o feast, at which I heard some of our denizens complaining very bitterly that, oh, not a single Southern Cameroonian was shortlisted for any of the categories for the Ballon d'Or. And one even said it was so at pain that not even a single Southern Cameroonian artist, that musician, was called to sing at the ceremony and all of this, and I went laughing. I said, I have said this thing over and over and over. You don't belong. It is the Nigerian actor Nkemowo, the one they call Ukwa, who said, don't beg relationship. You beg relationship. La République du Cameroon has continued in 1,000 ways to demonstrate beyond reasonable doubt that you don't belong. But you are continuing unperturbed to kill yourself to claim that you belong. So don't complain. That's why I say, when you carry ant-infested firewood into your house, don't complain when lizards come visiting, because that's going to be the natural sequence of things. I raise this all the time because I like our people to be sensitized. I watched on social media how people were really ill at ease and kind of flexing blows with a young budding Amazonian artist, Lee Bianca, because she came out and was expressing serious admiration for Samuel Eto'o feast and saying he needed to be hailed and encouraged because he had achieved so much for the country. And the question was, what has Samuel Eto'o done for the people of the Southern Cameroons? He has a voice. If he actually claimed that, yes, no, we were one people, one country, one future, as they have been claiming, Samuel Eto'o feast would even at one moment have raised his voice to say this ongoing genocide in Ambazonia needs to stop. On the contrary, he mocked at us when he went down to Victoria and had military people, hanging somewhere behind and making as if they were hiding and making as if they were not standing with him. And then he went on it, and then when I made a lousy, stupid, provocative post, there's your Marzi de Soya Alimbe, Sangad de Corps. But the pictures revealed that there were soldiers all around him. In a situation like that one, anyone who has that kind of personality, you want to use that personality for the cause of humanity. So Lee Bianca, perhaps she was making all those statements, hoping that Samuel Eto'o feast was going to say, oh, that girl she's saying, and then call her for the so-called Ballon d'Or, so she could go. Even herself was ignored and neglected. That is what it is. That is what happens when you refuse to understand that people don't want you. That people only see you as an object, as a slave, as something they can use. Those are the things that happen. So I didn't even want to bother about that lousy event. I just come in because of those comments, and I say, okay, maybe let's just pass around here, and then to remind people that is one more piece of evidence to you that you don't belong. Get out of here. Okay, that's it, folks. Let's get into the beef of our conversation. And so if you're just joining, come on, send me the likes, send me the hearts, and especially make sure you share the link. Share and share and share and share as much as possible. And to some of our folks on ground 0, ground 1, and ground 2 who've complained about data a lot of the time, I'm producing an audio version at the same time. And at the end of this live broadcast, I will send out the audio version so that those who don't have a lot of data could have the opportunity to listen to this message. And so let us look at this. Just as I was getting ready to get into the studios here, a friend shared me this. It's, and I'm sure usually when it comes out of that starts circulating too, he shared me this, and I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, John Gufoncha. That's true. I've actually broadcast the video in which he makes this declaration, but sometimes it's still good to remind ourselves that the Anglophone Cameroonians whom are brought into union have been ridiculed and referred to as les biafrais, les ennemis dans la maison, les traîtres, etc. And the constitutional provisions which protected this Anglophone minority have been suppressed, their voice drowned, while the rule of the gun has replaced dialogue, which Anglophones cherish very much. Of course, talking about the rule of the gun, it's something we've become accustomed to. And I've heard again, and I keep reiterating this, some people have the guts to sit and say we started a war. No, we asked for dialogue. When they refused to dialogue with us, we took to the streets to protest in the streets peacefully. Then they came and pretended they wanted to talk. We sat through a lot of sessions with them in Bamenda. Those government ministers came on missions, spent a lot of money for themselves to enjoy themselves and claimed they were coming for dialogue. But at the time, they were unable to force their will, to force their agreement, to force their thoughts on us. They outlawed us and started calling us terrorists. And even when they were calling us terrorists, we still did not do anything. We returned to the streets just with peace plans. They continued to attack, to maim, and to kill us. It only got to a point where the level of dehumanization was such that people could not take it anymore. And so we picked up arms not to declare war, to defend ourselves. That is what happened. Picked up arms to defend ourselves. And so those folks among us who sit and call us or call our freedom fighters, our self-defense volunteers, terrorists, they are on the wrong side of history. And I'm saying this particularly to my former colleagues, that's journalists, both of the private and public media, and especially those who are at CNTV, who run their mouths on this. We are not terrorists, and you know it. You know the right thing. You know what happened. You were there. You covered it. You are reading it every day. And it is shameful for you to sit down and make such appellations. But all the same, like I said, fret not about this, because whether you like it or not, there are a lot of edicts in history that demonstrate beyond reasonable doubt that La République du Cameroon has never been a country of peace, a country of dialogue. No. Whenever there's been peace, it's because you allowed yourself to be subdued. Even the citizens of La République du Cameroon are now saying it clearly, neatly, without fear anymore. They are getting emboldened by the day as the scales are falling off their eyes. Watch this one.
C'est-à-dire, je ne peux pas prouver ce que je dis, mais tout ce que je sais, c'est que dans les stations-service, tu arrives, on dit qu'il n'y a pas de carburant, pénurie de carburant. Le pays est en train de se comporter comme le bateau Titanic qui est en train de couler. Un peu devant nos yeux, ça prend de l'eau, on voit, personne ne dit rien, ça prend de l'eau, on voit, personne ne dit rien, et ça prend de l'eau dans tous les compartiments. Le pays est en train de se comporter comme le bateau Titanic qui prend...
Did you hear that? I'm not the one saying it. He says their country, La République du Cameroon, right now is operating like the Titanic. That it is like the Titanic, the ship. That's the mammoth ship that was constructed, and its constructor said even God will not be able to sink it. But it was sinking gradually when push came to shove. And it was sinking before the very eyes of everyone. This is what this gentleman is saying about their country, Cameroon. That Cameroon now is like that Titanic. That it is sinking gradually, quietly, every day before the eyes of everyone. And no one appears to be lifting the small finger. And he said it's not just sinking at the front or just at the back. In all compartments. I mean, all compartments. Oh my goodness. What a description. Because when I tell our people Those who are heady, running to invest in La République du Cameroon, still shipping to Douala, still buying land in Douala, buying in Yaoundé, all of those things, still packing their money in Cameroon banks, I tell you, the day of tears is close. The day of tears is close. The citizens of La République du Cameroon who were mocking at us, who were shouting at us, who were calling us names, who were denigrating us. Huh? Today, they themselves have started crying the alarm. I told them a few years back that we will get here. A good lot of them did not believe me. But here they are themselves now sounding the alarm that it is finished. Only our people, those heady ones, those few heady ones among us, who are determined to die with beer, are still blind. Only they are not seeing. And I keep saying this to all the sons and daughters of the southern Cameroons who are still serving in the military of La République du Cameroon. Be standing ready, because duty call is coming. Homeland is calling. There is nowhere like home. Home, sweet home. Take note of that. Visit Evi Etna. She will tell you there is nowhere like home. Don't end up dying, fighting for some selfish demagogues in a foreign land where you will never be considered. Be getting ready to go home. That will be the time of your salvation. That is the face-saving moment. Be getting ready to go home. Because verily, verily, I say unto you, that day is here. It's happening. Listen to him again.
De l'eau, dans tous les compartiments. Le compartiment de la culture souffre. Le compartiment de l'économie souffre. Le compartiment de l'alimentation souffre. Le compartiment de... C'est-à-dire, le pays s'est déjà fait jusqu'à tu ne sais même plus qui est quoi dans le pays. Tu achètes la voiture, mais tu ne peux pas l'utiliser parce qu'il n'y a pas de carburant. Et personne ne trouve utile. Personne ne trouve utile de dire que voilà la difficulté qui fait qu'on n'ait pas de carburant au pays. C'est un manque de respect.
Oh, my dear brother, I really have pity for you all. Because you see, he say, I mean, some very interesting thing here. You even buy a car like we do Cameroon today, you are not able to use it, not just because there is no fuel. At least in the past there was some fuel. Now there's generally going to be a lot of issues with fuel. But most especially, you are not even able to use it because there are no roads. No roads! Be it in Yaoundé or in Douala. Now no roads, no fuel. Even when you were able to have some little patches of road to move on and had some fuel to move with soldiers, gendarmes, because everybody stands on the road. The last people who will soon get to the roads too, to be collecting their money now on the roads, are prison wardens. They too will soon be on the roads. That is how far, how deep it is in La République du Cameroon. It's completely finished. And he says it. In all there is no area that is free. None. Every sector is sinking. My dear people of Amazonia, my dear fellow brothers and sisters of the southern Cameroons, still loitering around and hanging on to La République du Cameroon, make hay while the sun shines. I keep saying this. And for those of us in this liberation movement who for one reason or the other fell off, rush back to the fold. Because I said it the last time, and I'm repeating it here, that fields are wide and harvest waiting. We just want people to come together so we will bear the sheaves away. Don't say later on that I'm regretting that I really wasn't part of it. Because you will find it difficult to tell your children that you were a man, you even had the means and everything. And then things got to this point and people were making names and you were standing aloof. You were operating like that coward. And you know cowards die several times before they reach death. because you keep thinking that you are smart when you are not. And now it came to pass that even some who started this liberation movement, this phase of it with us in 2016, and were very strong together in 2017, have suddenly even forgotten that there is something existing against as a liberation movement, because they had to go back to some of the goodies that they felt they were already missing with La République du Cameroon. And then I'm shocked that after you come in, you know that this is what this place is. That this is a banana republic. That this place is a place where they don't respect any human rights, don't respect any law. Rule of law does not exist. That this is a chaotic system. And that this is a rapacious environment where it is survival of the fittest, where the most powerful will grind the weak at will. But you can't complain after. How now? Listen.
The Cameroonian Bar Association is highly baffled with the recent happenings in the country, actions that are robbing the justice system in the mud.
I wrote to the Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of defense, drawing his attention to the fact that something incurably wrong, something strange is happening, that an examining magistrate is alleged to have sent out a court ruling. Thereafter, less than 24 hours, he sends out a correspondence saying that ruling is not authentic. There is proof that that ruling was served by the registrar of his court. Then something is wrong. We are not interested in the content of the ruling. We don't care whether the people merited bail or they didn't merit bail. But what we are saying is that the entire justice system of this country has been put to question by that.
No, Barrister Eric, no. You see, this is the point here. These are bandits. I mean bandits who are trying to walk their way out of jail and using the same kind of system that they have been using to do other horrible things. It baffles me, it beats my imagination that it is today that you, as the president of the Bar of La République du Cameroon, I don't involve us in those things because you participated, in sessions where Barrister Bobga Hammond in Boton was there and where they created the Southern Cameroon's bar to which you should have belonged. You cross the other way, and it's today you're coming to talk about this. The image of the justice system has been destroyed. Has there ever been a justice system in place in that country in the first place? There's never been one. Otherwise, how do you explain? And I thought that you should have been coming out regularly using this podium to cry foul about this. How do you explain that the law makes clear that if you commit an offense, it is the court in the jurisdiction of the area where that offense was committed that should try you? They have captured our people from Bamenda, from Manfé, from Wum, from wherever, and carried them straight to La République du Cameroon in Yaoundé to try them under a legal system different from the one under which they committed their offenses. So right from that moment, you didn't notice that the justice system was finished, crushed, and buried? You didn't notice that you are actually in a banana republic? I feel ashamed sometimes. We will come out to make these kinds of declarations. And these declarations will be made because it involves hardened bandits who have stolen a lot of money from that country and have been starting it to find their way, to fight power. It creates that suspicion even that all these talks is because of the billions that are loitering all over the place and watching the rooms and halls of lawyers all over the place and the judiciary. How do you explain to me that Sisiku Ayuktabe Julius, Patasan Wilfred, Barrister Eyambe, Che Fidelis, Panfongalamfo, Shufai Bless Services, Barrister Shufai Bless Services, that they find themselves, and others, that they find themselves being judged in a language that they don't understand. Where does that happen? In which part of the world? You did not use this same tribune to cry foul that the United Nations Working Group found that the detention trials and sentencing of Sisi Julius Ayuk Tabe and all those who were picked up from Nera Hotel, who were kidnapped from Nera Hotel in Nigeria, that what happened was against international law, and so they should immediately be released. You've never talked about it. That even the High Court in Nigeria found that their kidnapping was against even the Nigerian laws, and found the Nigerian and the Cameroonian government guilty, and ordered the Nigerian government to even pay reparation. My brother, as the president of the bar, you never cried foul. You never said that the image of the legal system was tainted, of the Justice Department was tainted. You take but the occasion of the handling of frustration with hardened bandits. It's embarrassing. And this is what I keep saying. This is what I keep saying. We are joking. Let's finish with him.
Confusion. So we expected the military justice system to come out and clear the air. Let us know what actually happened and let somebody be held responsible for that. Because if we are in a country where court decisions need some other instrument to say whether it is authentic or not, then we are doomed.
The bâtonnier Mba Eric laments over the fact.
You have been doomed a long time ago. Doomed! Many years back. It's not today. Doomed a long time ago. Because they capture people's children before you. They have done nothing. They suddenly tag them and say, I don't know. Barrister Ba, my brother, because I'm making clear, this is my brother. I can't deny you because you are involved in this kind of, because you are at this kind of imbroglio. No, my brother, my brave brother, to be very frank about that. Listen, I expected you as the bar president to come out and cry foul that a woman who is not in the bushes fighting, a woman who does not have any weapon, was arrested with her pregnancy, jailed in Boya only on grounds that she had had a carnal relationship sometimes behind with a self-defense volunteer. And when she had her baby, that baby spent its first days, weeks, and even months in jail. You were there. You didn't consider that wasn't strong enough to stain the image of the justice of the justice system? It wasn't strong enough? That people's parents are captured, tortured, detained, and even disappeared simply on grounds that their children were involved in fighting for freedom. Adults. Where in the world does that happen? Because you forget that even the greatest terrorist of all times, that was the most wanted in the world, until under the Obama administration in the United States of America, they were able to locate him and kill him. Osama bin Laden, that his child or children or siblings or whatever were moving around in the free world. Nobody did anything to them. They were never arrested and detained for the crimes that their father or their uncle or their brother or their husband was committing. You didn't cry foul. Now what kind of useless system was this? Today, because of someone who stood on Vision Card and said that the people of the Southern Cameroon should be wiped out, you cry foul. Amugo Belinga is on record to have said if he were the president of the Republic, state of emergency, and life should come to a halt, no hospitals should operate, no schools should operate, they wipe out anything there until they are satisfied. And yeah, that's what Amugo Belinga said. And today, my own Bramba Eric, come and stand up. You are complaining that a thing that was done to such a hardened criminal who is even there because there's all evidence that has been presented before the court of law. And even during the preliminary investigation, I'm saying what I heard on Radio France Internationale, that had the opportunity to read what declarations were made before the investigators at the level of the preliminary investigations. That this He's a murderer. And you come and tell me that. I've said here 1,001 times that that system had long collapsed. Graduate from giving those who look up to you and believe that you are an opinion leader and you can talk and they listen to you. Graduate from making the think that there is anything that can ever come out of La République du Cameroon. Begin to tell them the truth. That as a matter of fact, that is a very bad system that we never belong to, we should never have belonged to, and we should never have anything again to do with them. That's exactly what you should be telling them. I'll let you go. And now enters Petit Pays with the same kind of recriminations. Ah, la walai.
De la musique qui est diffusée, voilà. Qu'en pensez-vous?
La musique camerounaise a des problèmes sérieux parce qu'elle n'est pas reconnue au Cameroun. Et le fonctionnaire camerounais ne supporte pas l'artiste camerounais. C'est pas comme ailleurs. Raison pour laquelle on a des problèmes. Il y a une jalousie et le complexe. Les Camerounais sont trop complexés. Ils ne sont pas fiers et dignes de leurs valeurs.
Do you hear that? That's Petit Pays. Although he's talking about music, he's going to go completely gaga right ahead to other things. But first, he says Cameroonians, that's his citizens of the Republic du Cameroon, are so complex. There are people who never stand for each other. They don't know solidarity. There are people who never ever promote even themselves, even their own values. So if people have no values, if people can never stand for themselves, who can promote themselves, it's visible, you can see it. Because while they were killing, roasting our people alive in homes, in their houses, the citizens of la République du Cameroun were saying, envoyez-le bi, envoyez-le là-bas, on va les déréatiser. That's what they were saying. Until today, it is dawning on them that everything is finished. Like the first speaker said, that the ship is sinking in all compartments, not one. Not one. So, Bianca, if you are making all Samuel Eto'o and that was all one, you are thinking that he will blink his eye towards you and say, come for this thing and be honored. You definitely have been served. Let's finish up with Petit Pays again. Hear more.
Cameroun,
on ne parle
pas
que
fiers de leur musique.
voilà, au Cameroun, on ne parle que du football. On oublie que sans la musique, on ne
Oui.
peut pas vivre. Voilà.
D'accord.
Donc, le Camerounais a des problèmes et ces problèmes ne pourront pas se résoudre maintenant. Il nous faut Moïse pour nous sortir de l'Égypte, pour qu'on retrouve la croisière. Le reste.
Did you hear that? Petit Pays says the problem of their own country are horrible, that nobody can rescue them right now, that they need a Moses. Like République du Cameroon itself, when we were saying this in the early 90s, when the Southern Cameroonians spearheaded all kinds of demonstrations, all kinds of political activism to say there was need for change, so we could all enjoy even in that useless form of union, they never saw it. When we stood on our own, said, oh yeah, it's okay, we are tired, you guys should get the heck out of our land. They cursed us, they ridiculed us, they said we were gauche, they said we were kafar, another one said we are dogs, that's Okada Bilai, that everybody should hold their dog, another one said we're coco, all kinds of things. Today, it is dawning on them. Honorable Wiba told them that these 2 cubes of sugar would bring down this country. Just 7 years, Just 7. Only 7 years. They are beginning to call themselves names. Here, Petit Pays is even going worse. He's even going further.
C'est du pipeau. Je suis là, je vis ça tous les jours. Les hommes d'affaires camerounais, les politiciens camerounais, l'État camerounais, personne d'eux n'est d'accord avec ce métier. Même les aînés se sont plaints. Les Francis bébés ont accepté qu'on brûle le corps et qu'on jette les cendres au mont Cameroun. Les Boilotins, pareil. Donc, je me dis que nous tous, nous sommes en train de payer parce qu'on a tous trahi Aïdjo.
He has said it finally. He has said it finally. That he believes that they are all in pains and suffering like this because they betrayed Ahijo. How did they betray Ahijo? They believe in a con man. who came and gave the impression that history started with him and would end with him. While they are saying that they betrayed Ahijo, we, the people of the southern Cameroons, we are saying France, Britain, and the United Nations messed us up by getting us into an evil union. That we ended up unevenly yoked with the people who don't have souls, with the people who don't have conscience, with the people who have no vision, with the people who don't know what it means to stand up for what you believe in. So if you are doubting that we really have to get out of this uneven mix, then you just be listening to the citizens of La République du Cameroon themselves that are bringing to this platform. This petty pays. Now he says they betrayed Ahijo. But yesterday they were there singing, Paul Bia toujours Shoga, Paul Bia toujours Shoga, Paul Bia toujours Shoga. Now they are running all over the place with gallons, crying, sleeping on the tire, some, hanging behind petrol tankers to steal fuel in small gallons that can't even help them do anything. That is what their lot will be. They were getting it easy, while they had easy access to our resources. We have succeeded in making the cost of occupation unbearable. And so La République du Cameroon is crumbling and everything is unraveling. People are now ready to talk. They can't hold it anymore. They can't hold it anymore. Folks, listen, I will never lose time to keep bringing this here. Because we need to know. And we need to be encouraged to understand that we have covered grounds in ways so completely unimaginable. We are almost there. We are almost there, folks. We are almost there. All you need to do, finance this liberation movement. I want to take a little break. When I come back from this break, I'll get into one aspect that I raised in that evil document that I presented here, and we'll take a quick look at something so that it should make us understand and make those in our communities who fall among the category of these manipulated humans should learn to recognize the need to stand with their people. Let's dance more. A big thank you to this gentle ladies and men. That was a short trip to Mogamo. That's in the Batibo local government area, Momo County. In fact, thank you for shaking the stress a bit off so we can continue. And we're not really going to be long in this broadcast. There was much more that I wanted to talk about, but I'll push some forward and be back here with this on Tuesday. That Tuesday would be December 19th. That's in 2 days. So I'll be back here for another very important communication. But let's finish up with this one that I have here now. Look, folks. In that document, that very bad document I presented from La République du Cameroun, I mentioned that one of the things that La République du Cameroon does is to ensure that they go after all those that they classify as elite. They make sure they get only people who are not loved by their people to govern them or to be picked up as their elite or their chiefs or their funds or their whatsoever, because that gives them a modicum of control. Because you're not loved by your people, you depend on them for your survival. And because you depend on them for your survival, they inadvertently or they simply go ahead to micromanage you. That is what happens. And so therefore, folks, you will notice that when it comes to the issue of chieftaincy, Fondom recently, not only in the southern Cameroons, but even in some parts of La République du Cameroon, we saw it in the west, where the administration was determined to force, the political elite was determined to force someone of the people of one of the villages in the Bambutos division of the west region. And the people came out in their numbers, mothers, women, that's men and everything, to protest. And they fought for days. But each time, La République du Cameroon came with soldiers to install somebody forcefully as the front of the area. And you know, the people of the west region, the Bamileke people, they have a similar culture to that of the grass field of the southern Cameroons, where the fund normally is chosen by the people, not just chosen. There are families, and it's a system of hereditary. So they know naturally who will become fund or where the fund will come from. And there is always a traditional council, and of course, there is a council of kingmakers. And the kingmakers will follow the guidance, ancestral guidance put in place to pick a fund. But increasingly you notice that La République du Cameroon everywhere is doing everything to be in control, to be the ones that pick the people that represent. That is how they did everything and shot dead the fund of Isu in Menchum County. And the next thing we knew was a colonial senior divisional officer sending out an announcement that people interested in being funds should drop applications at his office within a certain deadline. Travesty of our traditions. But it is in implementation of the policy on that document I shared. That is what it is. That fund of Isu that was shot dead was considered not friendly to the administration because not only was he loved by his people, but he stood by his people. It's the same thing they're struggling to do across the board. And now, they don't back down. They are ready to kill as many people as they can to make sure they get their way. So in Buda, in the Bambutos, we saw it resulted to several deaths. They killed people, tear gas canisters were all over the place. They even shot people with live bullets to bring somebody that is supposed to be the ruler of the people over the people, the custodian of their traditions. It didn't just end there. Over in Konye, we found a similar situation with the administration struggling to force someone on the people. And here are the people in sit-down strike.
These are villagers of Koba in Konye subdivision. On Friday, they marched to the office of the senior divisional officer of Meme, protesting that the divisional officer of Konye, Atta Moses Ntiep, has been using his office to impose somebody as chief of Koba. On their placards, they express worries against their divisional officer.
So it disturbs the peace for Koba, for chief. Every time we suffer, Mr. Mbele Smith, he suffer all the time.
At the SDO's office, the first assistant senior divisional officer for Meme attended to them and said their worries will be tabled at the appropriate quarters and that the process of selecting their king will be communicated to them. The people say they have a lot of challenges with the absence of a chief in Koba community.
This aspect that the GO for Konye is imposing us a candidate who is not the choice of the people. And because of this, we are not accepting this candidate. So that is why we are here today to tell the SDO to come back to our issue and resolve it once and for all. And to even tell the GO for Konya that let him listen to us. The village is our village. We know our culture more than him. We are those who make the choice and present to him, not him making the choice and present to us. It has never happened that way.
They went on to denounce the GO's choice, Mbele Smith, stating that Francis Bolo is the choice of the people and that Mbele Smith was chosen by the divisional officer of Konye and imposed on the people without any consultative talks.
Na GO for Konye, na iputi, no be we. We are chief na Mr. Bolo Francis, maybe we are chief for Koba. So Mr. Smith will not know it like our chief for Koba.
In several occasions, the divisional officer of Konye has ordered for the arrest of some kingmakers and title holders of the village.
And he is going on now with that young man, intimidating us, holding people, locking people. I myself, I was locked up in Konye for crimes that I don't even know.
The recent one was the arrest of the cupbearer of that community.
So recently, our cupbearer, who is the Muele Mboka, came to Kumba for his own personal issues. And he was just caught up illegally. I say illegal because no warrant was even issued to him.
The Kuba people explain that the absence of a king till date is as a result of an administrative blunder made by the divisional officer of Konye subdivision.
So, my people, what should I say again? I've pointed out here, and I keep saying these things. I say them, they are happening before our eyes. This is not the first time. They have been doing it. It is not just that. But it's just that because we start getting more information, this kind of documents start leaking out, and we start seeing that there was absolutely, or there is absolutely a specific reason for doing this. Then we understand that we have finished people. We need to get these people out of our land the fastest possible. You hear that? Kingmakers, whose duty it is to pick the chief, are being arrested and intimidated because they need to force someone whose loyalty will not be to the people, because that one will not be answerable to the people, but will be answerable to the colonial administration of La République du Cameroon. And for that reason, we'll never ever say no. These are the interests of my people that you are going against. It can't work. No, because who is he counting on? The people don't want you. And so if you dare refuse what we are saying, we'll throw you back to the justice of your people. That is what it is. It is not only there. All the areas where they target to get trouble, because I talked about it in the West. I've talked about it in Isu. I've talked about it now in Konye. Look at it too now in this is in the far north of La République du Cameroun. You see, the same people are also trying to force a lamido on the people. We also know that the traditions and cultures of the people of the northern regions are also very strong. But because the Yaoundé system, the Bia Evil system, needs to impose its will everywhere, this is what is happening. And look, folks, when I say this, I show it happening in the areas and all whatnot. I'm trying to let us know that we didn't have to find ourselves in this kind of messy system in the first place. It doesn't happen. So therefore, folks, listen, make haste, serious haste to bring in your contributions to this liberation movement. Go to One Pot Relief, put in your contributions, use your county, choose any cause of your choice that you want to contribute to, do. But by all means, let us put together the means to get La République du Cameroun out of our land. That should be our fundamental focus from this moment. It had been before, but I want it to become stronger, very strong, because like I said, 2024 is going to be so complicated over there. Let's stand ready. Again, I said here before, success is when opportunity meets preparation. Got that? Never ever forget it. Success is when opportunity meets preparation. Don't Be worried because some idiot will sit somewhere and call you a terrorist. I'm not a terrorist, and I know it. You are not one, and you know it. And I said always, don't forget, Mandela that they venerate unto today, when you call his name, a good lot that developed goosebumps. They called him a terrorist. So don't worry. Let's put our resources together. Let's put our resources together and let us kick La République du Cameroon out of our land the fastest possible. Let's bundle Biya and his evil and satanic administration out of our land the fastest possible. Folks, the opportunity we have before us is a once in a lifetime opportunity. A good lot of us who are still alive today and fighting, we stand a fair chance of seeing that free Ambazonia if we will only do what we have to do. And that thing is supporting in whatever way we can. A demonstration is called. If you can't go, sponsor 5, 6, 7, 10 people to go. Don't ever bother who has called for that demonstration. As long as it is for Ambazonia, against La République du Cameroun, be out there. Folks, I would have loved to go on and on. But at least I started late today. We still started at 9:30 p.m. Amber time, because it was 9:30 in Ekona. When we started, it was also 9:30 p.m. in Boka village. We started, and I guess it was also 9:30 p.m. in Bekom, in Lower Bafut. And so, folks, I would like to end here because it's already getting to 10:30 p.m. and I get it's getting quite late. The other very important issue that I was going to raise here is something that has to do with some maneuvers on the international scene that absolutely speak so well to our liberation quest. And so I'll reserve that one for Tuesday, and I'll be here on Tuesday when it will be 8 p.m. Amber time. Until we meet, therefore, on that Tuesday, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time, for coming to be part of this broadcast, and thank you for the hearts, thank you for the likes, and thank you for the share. Let's continue to protect this platform. Let us continue to visit www.oneportrelief.org, and most especially, let us continue to support this liberation movement. Our victory is certain. And the only other thing that I will say at this point is, to God and to Him alone be all the glory. Thank you very much for your kind attention.